Hi, and welcome to Knit in the City. I am Rebecca, and I was under the impression that my stash was mainly odd balls of yarn, or at best 3 or 4 of the same kind of yarn, making it impossible for me to make anything bigger without having to buy more yarn. So then I had the idea to go through my yarn stash, not all of it, but the bits that I can easily access, to figure out how many sweater quantities I had, what I had planned to make with these sweater quantities, and what other things I could possibly make with them that I would also be interested in making. So when I did this run through of my stash, I figured out that I have so many sweater quantities that this is going to be a 2-part series, so shame on me, I guess. But this is also a great motivator to not buy more yarn. I'm having a really lovely day outside my window. It is very cold. It's -6, which rarely happens here, and there are actually patches of snow outside as well. The sun is shining beautifully, and I think that you can see my eyes today, which is really great. I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm feeling great about it. And as you can see, I'm trying out a new location. I can already see that there is some chipped paint on the wall, so just ignore that. But I'll just jump right into the patterns. All of these are not full sweater quantities. I have also brought a few that are enough to make a t-shirt with, because a t-shirt is also a garment. So I thought they could count. And I mean, if you're a really small size, you could probably make a sweater or a cardigan with that amount of yarn. But without further ado, I will jump right into the patterns. And I will not go in depth on these patterns because there are quite a lot. I will just talk a little bit about the construction, if there are any special stitches, why I like this piece, things like that. And in the description box there will be links to all the patterns, so if you're interested you can check them out more in depth. Right, so the first sweater quantity that I have is a rather recent one, and in my later years as a knitter I usually, before I buy yarn, I usually decide or it's rather the other way. I see something I really want to make, then I buy yarn for this thing. And usually I have a bunch of UFOs and whips going on already, so when I receive the yarn, I rarely start knitting right away, which means I get to think about other things that I could also knit with this yarn. And that is what this video is. The first yarns that I will talk about is the combination of Drops Flora in this cute yellow color and Drops Kidsilk. The thing that stopped me in my tracks when I got this yarn was that as you can see, they're not the same color. So this is a lovely lemon yellow, I would say. You can see that there is some green in there. And this is more of a butter yellow. It's a lot warmer. These yarns, I mean, the color of these yarns are both called lemonade, which is what threw me off, because if they have the same color name, you would think they would also be the same color. So this was a bit of a disappointment. I actually made a gauge swatch, not to calculate my gauge, but to see what happens when I hold these yarns together. And what happens is pretty much that this yarn takes over. So the swatch looks a lot more like this than like this, which is quite disappointing because I was hoping it would be the other way around. But never mind. This is a silk mohair, and this is a wool, let me think, alpaca, yes, wool alpaca blend. This is a fingering weight, this is a lace weight. You hold these two together and you get a DK weight fabric. And when I bought this yarn, what I wanted to make with it was the Whitmore cardigan by Amy Loudon. I mean, this has been around for a while. It was very popular when it first came. I understand why. The pattern on the yoke is really beautiful. And I have been wanting to make it for a long time. I think that this cardigan would look great in this pale yellow, as in any pastel color. The purple or lavender on the pattern pics is really lovely. And this is a top-down round yoke construction. The increases happen in the lace pattern, which makes it quite simple. It comes in 2 lengths, waist length and hip length. And you can choose between a tapered sleeve and a bishop sleeve. And after I had been thinking about this, I also saw some other things that I could potentially make with this yarn. And I only have 6 balls of each, so it would have to be something quite fitted and small. But it should be enough for the patterns that I picked. I checked it, so. The first one is the Robinson Wrap cardigan by Florence Miller. And this is another design that I have been wanting to make for a while. I really like the way this wrap cardigan looks. I really like the wide ribbed hem. This is a top-down raglan construction, and it has double knit edges that makes it look really neat, and I-cord ties that, and it would look equally great with a dress or with jeans. And I really do need a wrap cardigan in my wardrobe, and I'm actually going to make an episode about wrap cardigans next, as part of my whole capsule wardrobe series that I am currently working on. The other option is the August sweater, and many of these patterns are patterns that I've had my eye on for a long time. And this one, I am actually currently knitting the cardigan version. I have known about the sweater long. I think the sweater has been out for a longer period of time, so that's why I saw that first. But the reason I picked the cardigan is that I have a lot more sweaters in my wardrobe than cardigans. So I really do need some more cardigans. I mean, I still think that this sweater is really beautiful, and it does have a place in my closet, and I think I will probably knit it at some point. I haven't knit a lot of cabled garments, so I definitely have some room for that. The next yarn is Luna by Permin, and this is a really lovely yarn with flecks of other colors. You can see there's a blue one there, some yellow in here, I think, and also my hair is on there. I actually have to check the ball band to see what is in this. This is actually 100% recycled wool, and that's probably why there are bits in it. There's some red in there. I bought this yarn to knit a t-shirt. I don't think I had a pattern in mind. I have 7 of these hanks. And what I first planned to make was the Luna tee by Carissa. I already made one of those, but I made it in a superwash merino yarn. It's a Drops Baby Merino, so I'm afraid to wash it because it feels like it's going to grow. It's also a little bit on the big side already, because this is supposed to be a fitted t-shirt. And I mean, it does cling to my body because of the ribbing, but I can feel how it really wants to stretch out and get bigger. So I was thinking to make it in 100% wool yarn, to not have to be so afraid that it's going to just grow and grow and grow. But this is a mock neck t-shirt, and it's knit in a broken rib pattern. And if I was to knit it again, I would probably make it a regular rib pattern without the just even rows of stockinette. It's knit top down in the round. It has short sleeves and wide raglan seams that are very decorative. And like I said, I haven't worn the one that I made that much out of fear, and also because it's beige and I'm still feeling insecure about beige, even though I kind of think that the beige that I picked is a cool leaning beige. But I can't wait to add another one to my closet. If I wasn't going to knit this, I have a few other options. And I think that this yarn would really lend itself perfectly to the Birkin Polo by Pendlerstrick. And I have been checking this one out. I think it's gorgeous. And I really want something like this in my closet. I mean, think this yarn and that pattern. The only thing I'm worried about is that maybe, because this is a long sleeve t-shirt, and perhaps I don't have enough yarn to make it. But I mean, I could start, and if it turns out I don't, I could just leave it as a short sleeve. That would also look nice. And I adore this polo shirt with a slim fit, ribbing, the neat collar. The shoulder line looks really exquisite. It's knit top down in the round with a satin sleeve. The neck edgings and the collar are double knit, and that always makes for a really nice finish. And I mean, at some point I'm going to make myself a shirt like this because it just looks so nice. And I think it would add to the clothes that I already have. The next one is also a polo shirt. This is the Lunen by Rebecca Clow. And I actually already own this pattern, which is great. I have not knitted yet. And that makes it a hot contender. And like I said, this is another ribbed polo shirt, but this one has short sleeves and the ribbing is a bit wider. And it can also be knit as a t-shirt with a crew neck, so you don't have to do the whole polo thing if you don't want to. The instructions include a DK and a fingering weight version, and my yarn is more a fingering. It is knit top down and has a drop shoulder construction, and it can be worn with either negative or positive ease, so there is a range that you can pick from. Next yarn is my Pink Drops Flora. I bought a bunch of this yarn because it's non-superwash, it feels nice to the touch, it's a fingering weight, which I like, and as you can see, this is a cool pink, so yay! What I first planned to make with this was the square neck camisole by Helene Beba, and I have already made one that I love. The only thing with that is that it's a 50 cotton, 50 merino, which makes it a bit warm for summer wear. And if you want it as a layering piece, it wouldn't hurt if there was more wool in it. But yeah, so I am planning to make this wool version. There is some alpaca in here as well, but that just makes it even warmer. The other thing about the one that I already made is that I made the straps a little bit too long, so they do tend to fall off my shoulders, which is something I would love to correct in the second version. Because, I mean, you start at the shoulders, there is no seam, and then you knit all the way down. So it would be quite difficult to fix that. I mean, you can cut into your knitting, but I mean, I feel a bit, and if I do, then I will have to seam them together, and I just really like the neat no seam thing that is going on with this tank. Yes. Okay. The square neck is really flattering. It's easy to knit because you don't have to make any increases or decreases. And you start from the top, and like I told you, it's very clever construction. You don't need to sew anything together, except for the double knit edgings where they meet. You have like a teeny tiny seam, which looks very bad on my tank. So I'm thinking to actually do a provisional cast on and then just Kitchener the stitches together when I'm done this second time. This piece is knit in a 3/3 rib, and like I said, the edgings are double knit, so you have a whole body. There are no sleeves, which is great. A whole body of ribbing, and then the double knit edgings. So on 3mm needles. So I mean, it is a bit of work, but at the same time, it's just a tank top, and I didn't find it too hard. And if I felt like I wasn't going to make this, I would also really like to make a camisole number 9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I mean, everyone knit this a few years ago. I did not. I don't know why. Perhaps because it was quite high-necked, and I felt like maybe that was not the best look for me. I still think it looks so, I don't know, it's like a classic piece. It looks like it came off a rack or something. No, that sounds bad. That sounds like it's cheap looking. Not at all. It looks very nice, very classic, like something that would be very wearable all year round. And I also have made the blouse number 1 from My Favorite Things Knitwear. I really love that pattern. I love the result. I mean, I think she's a great designer, and that is the only thing I have made from her. So I really need to remedy that. Maybe this will be the second one. No, I actually bought the pattern for the sweater number 20. So I think that will be the second. It's a V-necked cable sweater, really beautiful. I will talk more about that later. But yeah, the camisole is knit top down in the round with a fitted silhouette and a high neck, and the edgings are double folded and then sewed down, which is a bit fiddly, and I'm not a big fan, but it looks really nice if you do it right. The other option is the Tip Top Tank by Emily Baldwin. This is great because it's a free pattern. I have, it comes in a fingering weight version and a DK weight version, and I have already made myself one in the DK weight version, which I really love. It's like a really classic V-neck, both front and back. It's quite short. It has like it's not a seam, of course, because it's knit in the round, but there are some pearl stitches down the sides. And this sits quite close to the body, but it's not tight. It's like the perfect fit. The only complaint I have with the one that I made is that it's a bit too short, because this is knit from the bottom up. And that tends to happen when I knit bottom up things. And there is also a bow tie expansion, which is also free. So if you want to tie the straps at the top, then there are instructions for that as well. The next yarn is also a Drops Flora, but in this like jean blue. I don't know. I think this is a good color on me. This is also a t-shirt quantity, and what I first planned to make with this was the baby tee from Wool and Beyond. I really love the idea of a more fitted version of a t-shirt. The really straight ones don't really do much for me. It is knit top down in the round with a set-in sleeve, and the neckline is double folded. The hem, you can choose to leave it as is and let it roll, or you can fold it over and sew it down. This design has cap sleeves, but if I was to knit it, I would make the sleeve a little bit longer, like regular t-shirt sleeve. Other things I would like to make with this yarn is the Cumulus Tee by Petite Knit, which is a very popular design, as all her designs, almost. And I'm currently, I mean, not really currently, this is a very resting UFO. But I have one on the needles in a plant fiber yarn, the Sandnes Tynline, which is a yarn that I love. The whole plant fiber family is just really working against me, and even though I'm now down to a size extra small, I mean, the top is bigger, I think it's a medium, and then I've gone down to an extra small under the bust. it's still too big. So that's why I thought I should make one in wool, because wool behaves itself and you know what to expect from wool. So yeah, this is an option. This is a simple v-neck t-shirt with a raglan construction. I mean, very straightforward, easy to read this pattern. It's knit top down in the round and it has I-cord edgings. Another option for a tee is the Brightest Tee by Lily Kate France. And this is another fitted t-shirt with a top-down construction. This one has a boat neck, which is not my super favorite, but the blouse number 1 that I love dearly has a boat neck, so I should stay open-minded. It also has decorative details on the sides, short rows to raise the back, and cap sleeves that again I would make longer if I was to knit this. Okay, the next yarn is the Drops Nord. And this yarn I've had for a really long time. I bought it to knit the LYS by Andrea Maury, and that is short for Little Yellow Sweater. It is a cardigan, and I've had the pattern in my library for quite some time. I have not made it because I kind of think that the combination of this like wine purplish yarn and the design is just gonna make it look too cute for me, I think. And I'm trying to veer away from cute because I don't think it looks good on me. I will try to find a different yarn for the project that makes it a bit less cute, and I think I actually have found that yarn in my stash. Would you believe it? Well, the design is a cropped cardigan to be worn with a dress, preferably, or you can wear it any way you want, but this is how she wears it in the pictures. It has a high neck, raglan construction, and lace panels with bobbles down the front. And some other things I could make with this yarn. The first one is the Deuxième cardigan by Tamara Jordan, and this is one that I have placed in my queue. I really like this fitted v-neck cardigan all in an all-over rib pattern. And I think for a more classic looking cardigan, this is a great option. It is knit from the top, it has satin sleeves, and the cardigan has shaping at the shoulders, the waist and the hip. The button band is double knit, and you can choose to close it with buttons or a bow. And I love the look of this cardigan. And the only problem is that I would have to add in a lace mohair that I at the moment don't have. So this is probably not the first option for me. But I mean, I could of course check the gauge. Maybe I don't need the lace mohair. The next one is the wrap over cardigan by Jenny Atkinson, and I have been talking about wrap cardigans for a while now. And I think that is probably going to be what is next on my needles. Not this one in particular, but a wrap cardigan. This has a classic ballet inspired look, and it would have been a contender if it wasn't for the fact that it is knit in pieces and seamed. And if you've been with me for a while, you know that I avoid that like the plague. It's knit with 2 strands of lace weight alpaca, which means it would be the equivalent of this fingering weight yarn. 1 strand of fingering weight yarn. It has optional lace panels in the back and on the sleeves, but I would probably omit those if I was going to knit it. I would go for the full-on classic look. And the cardigan is knit bottom up, and it has a raglan construction. The next yarn is sock yarn, actually. It's the Regia Tweed. And I'm not really sure what color this is. It looks gray when I hold it up like this. It could be a dark brown. It could be black. It has tweed knops in all different colors. But when I first bought it, I was going to make a weekender light with it. I have already made the worsted weight version of the weekender, which I really like. I have worn it a lot. So I was really excited to make a fingering weight version. However, even though this sweater is really great once it's finished, it was not that fun to knit. And considering that I knit it in a worsted weight yarn, to go over this whole process again in a fingering weight, I really wasn't looking forward to. So I guess that's the reason that it hasn't happened yet. The weekender light is knit from the top down. It has a drop shoulder construction. The body has a looser fit and the sleeves are a bit more fitted. It has a decorative seam down the front and back. The body is knit in a reverse stockinette, and you knit it inside out, so you do the knits instead of the purls. And then the sleeves are stockinette. And other things I'd like to make with this yarn. So now I'm back to the LYS, because I think this yarn has a much rougher look than this. And that would make this cardigan less cute. So this is probably what I'm going to do with this yarn, I think. Because this darker yarn with the tweedy look will make it look cooler. And I don't need to go over the pattern again because I just talked about it. The other option is the Millie cardigan. This is also a quite cute, feminine looking cardigan that I think would look great within this rougher looking yarn. It's a top-down V-neck cardigan with an eyelet pattern on the big balloon-shaped sleeves and twisted rib on the body. And I really like the flowy and sheer look of this cardigan. I mean, I must say I'm a big fan of Irene Lynn. I'm currently working on the Kylie pullover. I'm really in love with the Carly cardigan. I think that is going to happen at some point. I'm quite sure. Next yarn is the Rauma finull, and I have two colors. This charcoal grey and this baby pink. And when I bought this yarn, I was thinking about the Autumn Alpine by Caitlin Hunter, which is a gorgeous sweater with a floral yoke, with a floral pattern on the yoke. And the reason I am rethinking this is that I already knit the Lima pullover, which also has a floral pattern on the yoke. And I knit this in brown with pink flowers, and I would knit this in grey with pink flowers. So it just seems a bit too similar. I am definitely making an Autumn Alpine, but I'm probably going to use different colors. I do have a blue yarn, like a jean blue yarn with a contrast icy blue that I am not even talking about in this episode. But this is the Klippan yarn that I'm always talking about. And I have a few sweater quantities of that that I decided not to talk about because I think you've heard enough of this yarn, and it can only be sourced locally, so to speak. But enough about that. Other things I would like to make with this yarn is the Pink Velvet by Andrea Maury. This is also a pattern that I already own, and I've had it in my library for a while. It's a round yoke, top-down, seamless sweater, just like the Autumn Alpine. I didn't say that, but it is. But this has a more geometric yoke pattern, so it doesn't look as similar to the Luma as the Autumn Alpine does. And this is a really luxurious sweater. It's knit in a merino yak silk yarn, and the yoke is knit in a Suri alpaca to give like a nice fluffy texture. But my version would then be 100% wool, of course. Another option is the Pojola pullover by Sari Nordlund, and this is another round yoke pullover with a more contemporary looking pattern on the yoke. And I picked this mainly because I really love the look of it. I think it's so beautiful, but also because it, like the other sweaters, only uses two colors, and that is what I have. And this sweater is knit top down in the round, starting at the collar. It has short rows just below the collar work and also just above the hem. And it comes in 2 different lengths, regular and cropped. And depending on how much yarn I have, we'll see which length I choose. The next yarn is Adlibris Nordic. I have that in 2 colors, but the first one I'm going to talk about is this dirty pink, which I really like, and I tried to talk my daughter out of wanting that for her storm sweater, so I can make myself a curly cardigan in this yarn. She did not buy that. I bought this to make my oldest daughter a storm sweater. I made one for myself, I made one for her little sister. This yarn is definitely becoming a storm sweater, but I'm still going to give you options. This is this is straddling the line of DK worsted. It has 100 meters. No, it doesn't. It has 200 meters on a 100-gram ball. Yes, the Storm is a drop shoulder sweater with decorative shoulder seams, is what I always call it, but you know what I mean. It's knit top down in the round with panels of different textured stitches. It's only knit and purl. And it has a drop shoulder construction. I'm definitely making that sweater in this yarn, but if a girl could dream, I would make myself a curly cardigan. This is an Irene Lynn pattern. I mentioned it before. I'm obsessed with this cardigan. The cables, the pockets, the seam line in the back, every detail has been perfectly planned. It's knit from the top down and it has a drop shoulder construction and cables to die for. I really love the cable going all the way around here instead of the button band. In my dreams, I'm making this cardigan a bit longer than the pattern suggests. Mid-thigh is what I'm thinking. And this, at some point this has to happen. Not in this yarn though, but it has to happen. Or maybe in this yarn, but then I would have to buy more. The second yarn that is the same, the Adlibris Nordic. I mean, these are 100% wool. I didn't say that before, non-superwash. I bought this gray yarn to make a pair of trousers for myself, which is something I'm really excited about. I think I've been talking about that for a while. And the pattern for these trousers can only be found in this book. I hope I'm not gonna just topple everything now. This is Wool and Beyond, or Elin Berlin. This book is called Maska for Maska, which means stitch by stitch. And there are patterns in here that are supposed to make up a capsule wardrobe, which I think is a great idea. I can only show the trousers. I can only show you the trousers in this book. Unfortunately, this book is only available in Swedish. I don't know if that's going to change. It was released in October, so it hasn't been out for that long. So perhaps they're planning to translate this into more languages, let's hope, because there are some really nice patterns in here. But I will show you the trousers. They're knit top down and they have a decorative all over slip stitch pattern and folded hems, both on the top and bottom. I'm thinking to maybe knit these in plain stockinette to make them even more wearable, but I have not decided yet because I kind of like the pattern as well. So this is a picture of her bottom. The whole trouser looks like this. And if I make these, they will be my first pair of knitted trousers. And that is really exciting. Here you can see the pattern a bit better. It's kind of nice. Maybe I will keep it. And if I don't make those, I do have another option, and that is the cloud bridge pants. And I am determined to turn this yarn into a pair of trousers. So that's why my second option is also that. And these are also knit top down with folded hems, but they do have a wider leg, and they are also knit in an all over stockinette stitch. Okay, the next one is the Drops Lima in the taupe colorway. And I bought this yarn to make myself a lauder V-necked cardigan, which is a pattern from Rebecca Cloud. This pattern is great. It has options for a sweater, a cardigan, and a vest. And I don't know if all of them also have the options of a crew neck and a V-neck, but some of them do. I actually started to make the V-neck cardigan, but I realized after knitting this much that it was way too small. So I ripped it out. I still want to make it, but I don't know when that is going to happen. I will have to forget about this traumatic experience first. It has a drop shoulder construction and an all over really nice cable pattern. I'm really into cables lately, I have to say. Other things I would like to make with this yarn is the Vivica cardigan by the Westrand sisters. And I really like this cardigan. I've had my eye on it for a while. It has 4 cables down the front and back, and I really like how the back cables are curved like this. You can see in the picture. The rest of the body is reversed stockinette, and the sleeves are knit in a 1-1 rib. I don't know if I would do that, or if I would just stay with a reverse stockinette. I mean, that's a decision for later. I don't even have the pattern yet. This cardigan also has a drop shoulder construction, and it's knit from the bottom up, which the lauder is not. That is a top down one. And the sleeves are shaped with short rows. The other option is a simpler cardigan without cables, and that is the Granite cardigan by Hagenhuset. And this is a very clean and simple cardigan. It's great for everyday wear. It's something that I kind of need. It's knit top down. It has a raglan construction, and I haven't knit a raglan sweater in quite some time, even though I find them both practical and flattering and also fun to knit. The hem, cuff and button bands are picked up last and knit in a 2-2 rib. That was all I had to talk about for this first part, and I think I talked about way more than half of the yarns that I have. So I will either add some things, because I have more sweater quantities than I have told you about, unfortunately. Not that many, but perhaps I would have to add some more. Or maybe I just find that I can speak more at length about some of these designs or yarns or whatever. We will see. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you found something that inspired you. And I will hopefully see you in the next video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.